Earlier in the week, I was encouraging you to take time out to reflect and particularly to reflect on the last year, the things that you have learned, the ways in which you may have grown, the times that you have sensed God's presence with you. And for the next couple of weeks, I want us to focus on some of those things that God might have been doing in our lives over the last year. And today I want to think particularly about the lessons that we might have learned, about what God might have been teaching us about himself, about our world, about ourselves. I've been doing daily thoughts with a few breaks 5 times a week for over a year now. We've had online services and home delivered packs. As a church, we've done all sorts of things to help one another, to keep learning, to keep connecting with God and with each other. And I'm sure that you have looked at and accessed all sorts of other things over the last year as well, be it on the TV or the radio or YouTube or elsewhere. In his letter to Philippians, Paul writes, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received from me or seen in me, put into practice, and the God of peace will be with you." Now, the truth is, we've spent time learning and thinking about things together. And so we all should have learned something from one another or from God over the last year. But sometimes you just have to sit down and take time to work out what it is we've learned. I have learned so much in the last year. Let me share some things with you that I've learned. I have learned that in our world and indeed in our nation, the people suffer even more from the effects of inequality than I thought they did. Inequality is a much more serious problem than I realised it was. I've listened to more and more stories from women and from people of colour and people who live with disabilities. And I have learned how privileged I am to not have to live with those things, the inequalities that come with those things. God has been showing me how this sort of inequality breaks his heart. I've learned this year how much I need other people, how much all of us need other people, not just on the end of a phone or on a screen, though those are good when we can't have anything else, but how much we need people in real life. God has re-emphasized to me how he created us to have relationships with one another. I have learned some of my own limitations, that sometimes I need to say I cannot, or I am at my limit. And God continues to teach me patience through bouts of homeschooling, through cancelled plans, through my postponed sabbatical. God continues to teach me not to worry about tomorrow, to let it care for itself, and to focus instead on the job in hand today. These are some of the things I've learned. I wonder what you have learned this year. What has God taught you? Once more, I would encourage you to take the time to pray about these things, to really acknowledge the things that God has been trying to teach you about himself, about the world, about yourself. I'd encourage you to take the time either today or tomorrow in that space where you would normally listen to me rabbit on, to take the time to sit and to write those things down. Pray over them, pray into them, and pray that God would help you to continue to learn from him.